It's,
I forgot him twice.
well, they last longer that way.
Yeah, dude.
I don't know why I took the folder. She can keep the folder.
As long as you get it back.
I guess I gotta go.
Everyone, we are live with the streaming, and it's 7 o'clock, so we'll call the meeting to order. First order of business is the invocation, and we have with us Reverend Bobby Johnson from the Detroit Christian Church. Appreciate you, sir.
Pray with me, please. Our Father in heaven, we want to begin by thanking you for your many blessings. We thank you for the rain we've had in the last few days. Thank you for our country, our state, this wonderful county, the way of life that we're blessed to enjoy. I pray for this meeting tonight, for each resident of our county that's here and each official that's here. I pray that each official will remember the wonderful privilege that they have to represent our county, and most of all, may they be reminded that Scripture teaches us that government officials are ministers of God, and they are here to punish evil and to reward the good. So I pray you help them remember that. We thank you for our rights that come from God and God alone. May we all do our part to protect each other's freedoms and rights. And remember that Jesus Christ is King, King of kings and Lord of lords. So we ask that your will be done with your servants tonight. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Thank you. We pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, roll call.
Lacey Kendrick,
Here.
Tom Lewis,
Here.
Mark Mountain,
Here.
Gary Cross,
Here.
Jim Shepard,
Here, Madam Clerk.
Andy Barman,
Here.
Joe Cobb,
Here.
Don Foster,
Here.
Rita Haas.
Here. Okay, item 4, approval of the last month's meeting minutes. I think Natalie emailed to all of us the day after our August meeting. Have a motion to approve?
Ma'am, I'd like to add a correction.
Mark?
First, for discussion, on the part where we approved borrowing from the liability fund, there's a motion, there's no second, and it also doesn't reflect the vote. 'Cause I'm pretty sure, Terry, you voted no. All that was missing.
Okay.
Does anybody recollect they need to?
Does anyone remember who the second was?
And Tom Lewis
Yeah, yes, I'm pretty sure it's not. It was me.
made the motion with Mr. Shepard.
And the vote was 7-1?
Yes.
Johnny, were you here before? Somebody 611.
Dawn would.
I wasn't here.
Oh, well. Five. Five.
5-1, and Derek was no.
There's 2 absent, 1 no, 5 yes.
Who's way up north?
Okay, you have all that, Catherine? So do we have a motion for the minutes as corrected? Mark? Second? Lance? Any other discussion? All in favor, aye? Aye. Any opposed, nay? Motion carries. Okay, item 5, West Central Mass Transit District's requirement or request for a memorandum of understanding documenting arrangements should the county ever need their assistance with emergency evacuations. You may recall this was on our agenda in August, but it was tabled as Tom suggested that we have this reviewed by Josh. I did that after the meeting and he is fine with it. And you might also recall that Walker had reviewed the document prior to the August meeting and wanted an addition to the language that said the West Central Mass Transit would only seek financial compensation if the county, meaning Pike, applies for and receives. Their original language just said applies for, and Walker asked to put in the language receives, which they are okay with. So with that, do we have a motion to approve this memorandum? Tom?
I'll second.
Second by Jim. Any other discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Motion carries. Item number 6. This item, I have on the agenda appointment of Leanne Pepper to serve as trustee of the Pearl Fire Protection District for a 3-year term until the first Monday of May 2027. I didn't realize when Natalie and Catherine sent that to me that there were actually 2 other people in subsequent pages where they're also seeking appointments. So Walker, do you have any advice there? Are we okay to go ahead with the other 2, or do I need to wait for next meeting?
We need to wait till the next meeting.
Okay. There's also an issue that in their document, on all 3 people, they refer to 3-year terms, but they use the date of expiration as May 27th.
That's their calendar. It goes back, it'll be 3 years.
Okay, you checked with them?
Yes.
All right. So their 3-year term has already started. It's retroactive. So if we can go ahead and have a motion for Ms. Leanne Pepper. Tom? Mark, second. Any other discussion?
Yes, ma'am.
Andy?
I would like to, just to give the board some information. I am the president of the Spring Creek Fire Protection District, and we at this time are in the process of trying to merge the Pearl Fire Protection District and the Spring Creek Fire Protection District. For the last 20 years, Spring Creek has been providing fire protection for Pearl, and petitions have been signed. We've got petitions. There'll be, the new Pearl Board will have to pass an ordinance, and it will come to a judge who will direct the county clerk to put it on the ballot for Spring Creek and Pearl to vote on. Everyone is, especially in Pearl, very happy that this is going on. This is going to be a change for them, and they're happy about that. But our fire chief in Spring Creek has obtained a grant from FEMA, I believe, for $350,000 to build a new firehouse in Pearl. So this is
Good.
going to really enhance their ability also, because they have people in Pearl that are willing to volunteer and even go to Nebo to train. So it'll greatly enhance their ability to get to a fire.
Congratulations to them.
Just a reminder. I got a question. Andy, does it, Leanne on their board?
Okay.
Do you need the other 2 on the board to complete
No,
the?
it'll be okay.
Process?
Yeah.
Okay.
They may have to wait another month, but then it'll be okay, I think.
But
Because we still have time to get it on the ballot.
okay, that was what I
Yeah,
was concerned
I
about.
think so.
Walker is reminding me to remind everyone else, and he works with these microphones all day. For you to be heard on the streaming, we really need you to talk right into it. Andy, with everything you just said, does that impact these 3 appointments at all?
No, it does not.
Okay. All right, good. So we'll do the other 2 on the October agenda. That takes us to committee reports. Don, Finance?
Okay. Do you have those up? You want me to pass those out for you, Catherine? The Finance Committee of the Pike County Board was called to order at 4 p.m. on September 17th by Don Foster. All members were present as well as a large crowd. Health and insurance plans were discussed at length. Derek Ross sent a survey to county employees. There was a glitch in the completing the survey due to the lack of one common domain for email groups. This was overcome in this instance by offering a paper version of the survey. The glitch is being discussed by the GIS IT Committee for future improvements. 100% of the responses received indicated a preference for continuing the current plans. The motion was made by Derek Ross and seconded by Lance Kendrick to send to full board to continue the 2 current plans. Motion approved. Property and casualty bids were opened. Representatives from SRM were in attendance to answer any questions. After some discussion, this was referred to Insurance Committee and full board. Treasurer Scott Circle gave status reports. The county is in a difficult, deficient situation. Many comments were made during a lengthy discussion. The result was that the county needs to transfer funds between accounts to cover payroll and operations. The treasurer needs additional authorization to do this. Some budget items were discussed with results needing to be discussed at full board or budget hearings. Items were tabled for later consideration. The need to develop additional county financial policies and correct issues identified in the 2021 audit was discussed. This will be addressed soon, perhaps after the first of the calendar year, as the current priorities for the board are current year finances, the 2026 budget development, union contract negotiations, and finalization of the 2022 audit. County expenses presented $2,472.89 paid prior to the meeting, $92,236.85 unpaid, for a total of $94,709.74. Motion to approve the payments was made by Derek Ross, seconded by Lance Kendrick. Motion approved. Public comment on why a sign-in sheet was passed around, and my response was I thought it to be normal procedure. Motion to adjourn by Lance Kendrick, second by Derek Ross. Motion approved, adjourned at 5:34 p.m. And incidentally, on the back is the copy of the sign-in sheet. And I see one name not on there, and that's Sheriff Greenwood, and he was here. He just came in later than the sheet had made it too far forward for him.
Okay, do we have a motion to approve the finance minutes? Joey? Second by Derek. Any discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Motion carries. Thanks. Then under the finance minutes, We need a motion to approve the Finance Committee's recommendation to keep the 2 current health insurance plans for employees. Do I have a motion? Lance, second by Don. Any discussion?
Yes, I have some discussion.
Mark?
Madam Chair. When not that it's going to change anything, but when I talk to employees about filling out the survey, their concern was, without knowing how much the county was going to kick in for each insurance, for each employee, it was very hard for them to make a determination on what plan to go with. Out of the 10 or 15 people I talked to, that was their biggest concern. You know, what's the bottom line? You know, if we continue doing the same, yeah, contribution-wise, then yes, they would like the same plans. But if that was going to change drastically, then they would want to consider something else, some other plan. So that's the feedback I got from employees.
Okay. Anything else? Okay, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Motion carries. Okay, Joey, Highway?
The Road and Bridge Committee met Wednesday, September 17th, 2025 at 1:30 PM at the Pike County Highway Department facility located at 39643 260th Avenue, Building 4, Pittsfield, Illinois, 62363. The meeting was called to order at 1:30. Members present: Rita Hoskin, Don Foster, Joe Cobb, and Andy Barman. Staff: Chris Johnson and Michelle McCartney. Public comments, there were none. Payment of claims, a motion was made by Andy Barman, seconded by Don Foster to pay claims per claim reports dated September 17th, 2025. All in favor, motion carried. Half aid to bridge closeouts, there were none. We had a discussion on changing the speed limit in Nebo on the east side of town there at the market. The speed limit change on County Highway 10 east side of Nebo. A discussion was held regarding extending the 35-mile-per-hour speed limit from the intersection of County Highway 10 and County Highway 7 in Nebo, Illinois, 1,100 feet to the east. A motion to approve and send to the full board was made by Andy Barman, seconded by Don Foster. All in favor, motion carried. We need to read the ordinance. I need to read that ordinance.
I would recommend that.
Okay.
It's kind of important.
So Chris, he'll know some better details, but for safety, I guess, right, Chris? They're looking at trying to slow some traffic down just east of the market there, or the old cafe, right?
Yes, the short of it is the new convenience store has increased foot traffic in town. And the way the speed limit's been there for years, the speed limit doesn't start until basically right at the old restaurant across the street. So technically, people could drive 55 miles an hour, 500 feet past that, there'd be no law enforcement, so well into town. So yes, it's a safety feature to try to slow people down. I was contacted by residents, the mayor, and it's really a pretty good fix on top of that. It puts the postal sign just east of the existing cemetery, just on the east side of it. Yes.
And Joe, is there a copy of that?
I think so.
Well, then you don't need to.
Okay.
Okay. All right, do we have a motion to approve the Highway, Road and Bridge Committee minutes? Tom, second by Lance. All in favor, or any discussion? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Motion carries. Then we need a separate motion on the ordinance itself. You all have it in your packet.
Make a motion, we approve the ordinance.
Motion by Andy, second by Joey. Any discussion? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Motion carries. Derek, GIS-IT minutes?
Thank you, Madam Chairman. The Pike County GIS Committee meeting was held on September 16th, 2025. It was called to order at 4:01 p.m. At the Pike County EOC Center. Committee members Derek Ross, Don Foster, and Jim Shepard were present in person. J.R. Bar-Eyes from Tiger Hawk, Rita Hoskin, Paula Dean, Dan Brannicky, Crystal Miller, Walker Filbert, and Angie Brody were also present in person. Under old business, Angie said said she has received an employee list and will start working on checking who has submitted their two-step authentication. IT coordinators have said there are still some computers that have not been updated to Windows 11. Angie said there are about 20 devices that we need to look at doing monitoring on, like iPads and iPhones. It would be about $6 per person. The committee will continue to discuss the benefits of this, of using that monitoring system. Under new business, Angie explained to JR that there was an emergency over the weekend and Tiger Hawk could not be contacted. The internet was down for 2 days last week. JR discussed cellular backup which is around $55 a month. There would probably need to be 2 or 3 of those required. Jim Shepard made a motion and Don Foster seconded to have Tiger Hawk reconfigure our switches to work more efficiently. It should take no more than 10 total hours to do. Emergency rates were discussed. JR explained that if his employees are already scheduled to do duties, changing the duties could be considered an emergency. JR said to clean up emails, it makes sense to consolidate all tenants under one. There are currently 3. The cost to move all of the data from the emails could be cost prohibitive, but the committee will continue to monitor the issue. Under public comments, there was none. Don Foster made a motion, seconded by Jim Shepard, to pay bills totaling the amount of $6,440.71. The motion passed. Jim Shepard made a motion. Don Foster seconded to adjourn. The motion passed, and the meeting adjourned at 5:26 p.m.
Okay, do we have a motion to approve the IT minutes? Lance? Second by Tom. Any discussion? Jim?
There was a bill in amongst the others for a little over $1,500 from Tiger Hawk for allowing CIC access on 3 laptops. I wanted some elaboration on that.
Do you want me? Sure.
Did she answer?
No, she just said what the amount was, but Jim had already said it.
Oh, okay. So there were 3 individuals, myself, Don, and Rita, that were trying to get access to CIC's budget prep software. The idea was that we hopefully, at least from the website, it indicates that the budget prep software appears to look at prior years, trying to get an idea of what's been spent, and then you can build the prep within the software itself, and potentially fill the numbers in, be able to print out worksheets, be able to print out where we're at. But the idea would be that if we're entering stuff directly into CIC's budget prep, then it would be a matter of, once the budget were approved, it would be, for lack of something better, flip a switch. So then all the information's already been entered. It doesn't then have to be given to the treasurer or the county clerk's office to then have to re-enter everything off of a spreadsheet. So the hope was that we were going to be able to log into CIC's budget prep only, not to get into any of the other financials. We were only looking at trying to do what their budget prep software had available. Unfortunately, to this time, I can get into the system, but my username and password doesn't work. So in light of timing, I went ahead and completed the spreadsheet that's been used in the past, updated everything to the best of my ability with updated numbers, and that was sent out to all board members and department heads last week. But if I had my preference, I would still like to see if we can get the CIC budget prep to work, and then hopefully be able to utilize that in the future.
How was that purchase approved?
How was the purchase approved?
Yes. for that software?
The
It
software was
wasn't, we
there.
already have it.
The software is already part of the system.
So what are we paying $1,500 for?
Service, yeah, it'd be a service from,
The $1,500 that Tiger Hawk charged was trying to get the laptops to communicate with CIC. Unfortunately, CIC apparently works a 32-bit system instead of a 64-bit system, so all of our laptops had to be reconfigured to a 32-bit operating system in order to load the CIC program. I can assure you when the discussion was made about we were going to be able to do this, there was nothing brought up about it could take 5 to 10 hours to get it done. Had I known that to start with, I would have figured out something else. But when we talked about it and discussed it, it was a matter of we just need to have login and access to it. But then as things were being done to the laptops, there wasn't any communication of how far they had gotten into it, how much time had been spent, and they got it done and ready, but then we got a bill. So it's one of those things that it had nothing to do with CIC or purchasing extra software for them. That is something apparently that's already been in the CIC suite. And I think Ms. Roseberry confirmed that because she said that is what she uses, is the budget prep software to then enter the budget into the CIC system. So again, the idea was that if we could be helping and operating CIC's budget prep system from the beginning, then that would be less work and the possibility of having human entry error if we're only doing it once instead of doing it on a spreadsheet and then taking that data and then moving it over to CIC.
That wasn't approved in committee, is that correct?
The 1,500?
The
Or-
authorization?
The budget prep?
Yeah.
That was discussed a few different times during the finance committee meeting about trying to get access to the budget prep software. It was discussed about if there would be any additional fees for having it, and we found out that it was already part of the software system. So there was discussion during the finance meetings about using budget prep or spreadsheets. And we were kind of going back and forth between the two, trying to determine which one to use. We were hoping to get the budget prep to work, but as I said, we weren't getting anywhere with that, so I went ahead and redeveloped the spreadsheet that Mr. Shepherd's used in the past. And that is what I filled all the information in and got that out to everybody so they could at least start working on it, so they could see what's out there.
Did the committee approve the Tiger Hawk bill? Did you guys approve that last Tuesday?
We approved bills, but I didn't pay attention to
It was in the
if that
pile.
was one of
Isn't
them.
there a note at the top of that, something about credit?
They took it out of the GIS folder, it went into the administration folder. Because what he has that's paid through GIS is not what's totaling on the billboard.
It says on this sheet, payoff statement due to credit.
We asked Tiger Hawk this may have been Angie who did this, but we asked them to look into the $1,500 and why it costs so much to try and get us access to that. Unfortunately, in the middle of it, the Tiger Hawk staff worked on it one day. We took our laptops to the annex building, and they came in there and worked on them, and then left. And I know for myself, when I went in to get the laptop, I tried to access the CIC system then, before I left to make sure it was working, and it was not working. And we spent our wheels a little bit trying to figure out why it wasn't working. We came to find out later that I don't know what Natalie was thinking, but she went in and after Tiger Hawk worked on it and terminated our access. I think she thought we shouldn't have it or something. I don't know. So we spent time trying to get it to work when actually the access had just been terminated. And I've not looked at it since, but after that episode, we did ask Tiger Hawk to take a look at the bill because I thought it was high for what they did. Just speaking for myself, I don't know about others. But Catherine, you're saying that bill is not on the billboard report?
Well, it's just different, but he has paid bills for GIS, 6,000. But like I said, I had to email and tell people to get the minutes, even do the totals, and still to get the finance, so if the billboard, I mean, it's,
So you're saying it may be in the finance total? You said it got taken out of GIS and put in administrative, which would be off of 7. So was it in the finance total?
I don't remember seeing it in finance. Do you, Don? No. I mean, there's usually Tiger Hawk bills for staff,
I
but
think at the top, you get a broken down of this. Now, the IT, I think paid the $915.38, and the administration paid the $1,080, which is the. This says 11 hours, $150 an hour.
there may be more in that than what, than just what we've been talking about. There might be other work combined in that. I don't know.
Here, 3 computers that were accessed.
Okay. Well, I mean, if you can tell how, I would be okay with removing that bill this month and not paying it this month until we can look into it more.
I don't know if Charlie's ready. We must make it pay bills, you guys get full of that.
Well, he wouldn't pay it until after tonight, would he, after the board approves them?
I know, so, I don't know how he, what the process is once it's been approved through finance.
There was 2 items on the Finance Committee for Tiger Hawk.
You better use the
394.
microphone.
Oh, 394.84 and 1,080.50 was the 2 items that came through Finance Committee. All I have is the amounts. I don't have the explanation of what they are. It's probably on that other.
Who's got it?
Catherine's got.
That was the balance. That was not taken out of GIS.
Yes. And I'm not sure on that one.
Derek, would you have any comments on the possibility of removing it from this month and taking a fresh look at it for next month?
We've already approved finance.
What's that, Lance?
We've already approved finance, so we
Oh.
have to go back and
Yes.
That's what I mean,
unapprove it.
that's what I was saying, the bills have been approved. Did they have any idea why our internet keeps going down? It was down last weekend, it was down 2 days last week, if it would have been payroll day, I mean, I would have had to take a laptop and find a hotspot somewhere. Get paid.
I thought we had a backup from Frontier coming into the annex to where if gas dropped, they picked it up immediately. Oh, we had that set up 2 years ago.
Apparently there was a credit.
That's
why that's.
There was a credit, so they just took it, didn't they? Is that what
Well,
they did?
apparently we had a credit, so instead of this bill being over about $3,300, it was about $1,900. So most of that got applied
And
to
it's
this
supposed
credit.
to be back up for the elections, yes. And the annex, what ours is supposed to be out. Because if that happens during elections, then we
But I thought that was supposed to take care of everybody if it went down.
Well, I know it's definitely our building, but I don't know. Because the ambulance, our building, and I think the courthouse, we all tie up the same.
Well, there's, we've got fiber connected to all 3 buildings. I mean, I thought if it went down, it was supposed to,
That was our, I mean, that's what Natalie.
Yeah. Essentially, the election backup is supposed to work for the courthouse and the annex. And the problem we had was not CASCOM, because the sheriff's department was up. Crystal Miller did make an observation at the meeting that the internet went down at 3:05 a.m. the 2 times during the week it went down. And 3:05 a.m. is the time of the morning whenever Tiger Hawk sends the updates. So that may have been related. But we did request at the IT meeting that whenever Tiger Hawk determines what the cause is, that they notify us what the cause was.
and that's been almost a week ago.
Week tomorrow.
Meet tomorrow, yeah. Meet tomorrow.
Well, since you're not sure exactly where that bill is with regard to the billboard report, shall we leave it as it is, and we could agree to go back to JR and talk to him more about it? If we can, if anything can be done, then he could apply a credit.
Well, of course, but I suppose my question is, apparently we're bringing up a bill that wasn't in the billboard report or in the GIS bills, so this must be just to bring up the bill? Is that,
I think it's in the GIS, but I think the way it got split up,
okay.
there's 1,080 that got paid off of that bill and 900, but the total bill is 33, so apparently we had some credit worth about $1,400.
I believe we had some
there.
leftover credit from the court system when that was being done, so. I've had.
So IT did approve it then, you're saying, Jim?
Yeah, it came out of IT, I'm pretty sure, but it got split. Part of it managed IT and part of it as GIS. So 2 different funds are paying, we're paying that.
I've had the discussion with JR and Angie, and the understanding, unfortunately, was that it was understood as a priority to get the laptops working, and so he spent the time to work on them and did not bother to call Angie or myself to say, hey, I've got this many hours in it, or I'm having this much of a problem. I understood that it probably would take a couple hours to do all 3 of them. There should have been no reason why you couldn't have worked on all 3 at the same time, at the same desk, did the updates and been done with it. But unfortunately, I wasn't I wasn't there. You know, I don't do the day-to-day stuff at the county, so I wasn't there when it happened. And they went ahead and did it the way they thought they needed to do it, and we ended up with a bill. I'm sorry it happened. We can talk about trying to get a credit on it, but they did spend the time working on the computers to try and get them to do what they understood they were supposed to do.
Is there any other discussion? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Okay, motion carries. Building and Grounds, Lance?
Thank you. On September 17th, 2025, the Building and Grounds Committee met at 6 p.m. Here in the upper courtroom. At 6 p.m., called the meeting to order. Tom Lewis made a motion to approve $10,879 in bills. Mark Mountain seconded the motion. Motion carried. Tom Lewis said the sheriff had not been notified the tree trimming bid was for the square was approved and that he would notify him. There was no other business discussed. 6:13 p.m., meeting adjourned.
Motion to approve Building and Grounds minutes. Andy? Second by Mark. Any discussion? All in favor, aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay? Motion carries. Public Safety, Tom?
Thank you. The Public Safety Committee met at 7 p.m. at the ambulance building. Members present, Tom Lewis, Andy Bauman, Jim Shepard, and Rita Hoskins. Also present was Casey Kendall. Bills in the amount of $36,565.56 was approved on a motion by Shepard, second by Barnum. Motion carried. Administrators report. Casey gave the run totals for the year of 1,736 and 163 for the month of August. Fleet, all are in good condition. Budget, Casey discussed some of the line items that were over budget, but overall the budget is in good condition. Casey brought up that he was going to go ahead and pay for the transfer ambulance that is on order since he has already had it in the budget for this year. The cost of the ambulance is going to be about $179,000. We also have another frontline ambulance on order and will be paid out of the 2026 budget. The cost of this ambulance is around $380,000. Personnel, we have one paramedic on light duty due to an injury. Casey has that person helping out in the office until they are released and can go back to full duty. Education, Casey had a meeting for the upcoming EMT course. He has 3 signed up. We would like to have 5 to have the class. Union, the ambulance union has reached out to Casey with a request for certain items for information, which he has provided and sent this information on to our labor attorney also. They are trying to come up with dates to start negotiations. Internet, Casey stated the internet was down over the same period of time that the courthouse annex was. Public comment, nothing. Adjournment, Marlman made a motion to adjourn, seconded by Shepard. Motion carried. The meeting was adjourned at 7:11 p.m.
Okay, thanks. Motion to approve the Public Safety minutes. Derek? Second. Mark? Any discussion? All in favor, aye?
I got a question.
Sorry, Lance.
Could I get an explanation? What's the difference between a transfer ambulance and a frontline ambulance, just out of my own curiosity? The difference between the transfer ambulance and a frontline ambulance, I just noticed there's about a... Just a lot more options and bigger vehicle altogether. Okay. Thank you.
All in favor, aye? Aye. Any opposed, nay? Motion carries. Insurance did not meet, but Derek, you're planning a meeting, right?
Yeah, eventually when
For the,
they
Yeah.
go through everything.
so you and Lance and Joey will schedule that, or do you want to schedule it now?
I haven't even had a chance to look at all the P&C stuff yet, so
Okay.
it'll be a bit.
All right, Economic and Community Development Committee. Derek, you want to read those minutes?
Thank you, Madam Chairman. The Community and Economic Development Committee met at 6:35 p.m. at the upper courtroom of the Pike County Courthouse. Those present were Rita Hoskin, Joe Cobb, Derek Ross, and Gina Sherman. There was a consideration and approval or denial of recommendations from the Tax Accommodation Committee. The first recommendation was an approval of $7,500 award to the Lake Trail Run John D. Friesmeyer was the applicant for a river-to-river marathon. The second application was an approval for a $15,000 award to Heartland Lodge. Tim was the applicant for the Pike County Clays Challenge. And then approval of $2,000 award to the Body Shop Fitness. Mitchell Barton was the applicant for a value-added incentive for local motels and hotels to include with their overnight offerings. Gina indicated that there's currently about $61,490 in the checking account, and there's also a $100,000 CD. Joey Cobb made mention that the $15,000 for the second one seemed a little high, so he requested that we change that to $10,000. So there was a motion by Joey Cobb, seconded by Derek Ross, to pass all three of the awards in a total of $19,500. The motion passed. There was a motion by Joe to adjourn. Oh, there was no public comment, I'm sorry. Motion by Joe to adjourn, second by Derek Ross, and the meeting adjourned at 6:50 p.m.
Okay,
Can we address the insurance committee? Next week's October, and that's our open enrollment, that we have to give information on what the employees.
okay, can we finish this when we're on? Okay. So do we have a motion to approve the Economic and Community Development Committee minutes? Joey? Second? Lance? Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed, nay? Okay, motion carries. We've got separate motions on each of the grants. The first one is the approval of $7,500 award to Lake Trail Run for a river-to-river marathon. Motion to approve that. Mark, second by Derek. Any discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Motion carries. Second one, this is the one the committee modified. Approval of $10,000 award to Heartland Lodge for Pike County Clays Challenge. Motion? Mark, second by Derek. Any discussion?
I'd like to move that back up to 15,000. Heartland Lodge collects the largest share of our hotel motel tax. And, you know, I think it's right that we get it back to them with what they've requested for an amount. They put in way more than that each year.
Was there any kind of a budget or what they were doing? How they were going to use that money?
It would have been in their application.
It's kind of vague. I just thought it was a little much, considering there's only 61,000 in that account. You know, if someone else needed some, I thought it was a little much.
Joey, can you talk into the
I'm
mic? Sorry.
I thought it was a little much, considering there's only 61,000 in that account, if another business wanted. So I agree, Jim, they give the most. I get it, but we don't want to deny someone else either, so. The Lincoln Day is coming up, is that coming up?
I think that's dead.
No. So, that's just my opinion, so.
But we should collect, the next quarter is our best quarter for collections. So we should be able to replenish and pretty much all that in that 3-month time.
Well, and that's something else I asked for was some little bit of budget information, what you're gonna take in and, you know, when it comes in, and she said she'd work on that, so. It's up to you guys, whatever.
Madam Chair, did I make that motion?
Yes.
Okay. Yes. I'd like to amend that back to 15,000.
All right, Derek?
Yeah, I'll second the amendment.
Okay, any other discussion on the amended motion? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? Nay? Approved. The third one, approval of 2,000 award to Body Shop Fitness for a value-added incentive for local motels and hotels to include with their overnight offerings. Motion to approve, Tom? Second? Derek? Any discussion? All in favor, aye? Aye. Any opposed, nay? Motion carries. I don't believe there were any other committees. Catherine, you wanted to say something on insurance?
Well, yeah, we talked about scheduling insurance meeting, October is next week, and that's open enrollment for Health Trust Insurance. It's been that way since we've had Health Trust, I believe, in October.
Well, just to be clear, the insurance committee that's being scheduled is on the property and casualty.
Okay,
Insurance.
when are we gonna schedule an insurance meeting then that will give our rates so our employees know what they're enrolling in?
That will be handled probably in a combination of two ways. One is through the negotiations with the union contracts, and the other is through budget hearings that we're going to talk about scheduling. But there's not a need for an insurance committee meeting for that.
So I guess Jason is sending the information to hand out to employees. Employees need to make changes or additions to their enrollment in October. Then we send it back to Hope Trust. That's been our deadline. That's been, Derek's, I think every board member besides Lance has known this timeframe. So I guess, do we need to ask Jason if we possibly, this is it, guys. I can't just keep putting them off. We can't keep getting employees off. This is, if we keep delaying October, then it's gonna be November, and then we're gonna have new calendar year with new rates, and the employees have to have insurance. So are we gonna keep delaying it and then start just rattling out and, hurry, 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 and not give the employees?
We're not trying to delay anything. I had a conversation Friday afternoon with the attorney who's representing us in the union negotiations, and on his advice, we're not going to talk at this point in an open meeting about how much we're going to contribute to the employees' insurance. And I don't believe this is unusual. It's, from what I understand, it's typical. Most counties, their fiscal years start in December, and often insurance enrollments overlap with that, so we'll just have to deal with it the best we can. But I don't have anything more for you right now. Bryce?
I have a question that I could. Thank you. I have an employee that has tendered a resignation, and so kind of saw this coming. I'm going to have to hire someone, and when it comes to the health insurance, what would you recommend I tell them the health insurance will be when I offer someone a package to come into this office? Are we going to have HSA? Is it going to be 150? If I was to hire one of you people, what would you expect me to say? At this point, there's no decision on health insurance, and health insurance up in the air. I'm just looking for a direction of, I don't want to misspeak to someone I'm trying to hire.
Sure. I think you can tell them at this point that the insurance is with Hope Trust. We know what the two plans that they're offering for us. With regard to what the employee versus county's contributions will be,
Okay.
or
Well-
deductibles and things like that.
Can I get that
That's
from
current.
somebody?
What?
Can I get that from somebody for the insurance committees that I can show a new hire of what we're offering for someone I'm hiring now?
The plans are online, you can,
The plan just, is still the same plan for now.
Yeah, I think the
Which
rates,
don't.
you just have to give them what the current rates are, because the new rates aren't established yet.
Okay? Still, we got October coming, like Catherine says. So all I can do is offer them what we have right now. That's what your direction is.
You're gonna have to, because
That's the only
the
concrete
insurance company hasn't had a meeting to discuss what our portion is gonna be paid.
So if they choose an HSA plan, I'll tell them that there's $150 that the county's paying towards HSA. That's what I'm to tell them.
That's what the current plan is.
Okay, that's,
I mean, I think you should be honest with them and tell them that those are going to be negotiated now, and we don't know what it might be for next year's budget.
There's a big possibility that this could change.
right. Well, yeah,
I mean,
that's my,
what they're contributing and what we're contributing. And if it's gonna be an HSA or not an HSA. Which I
Which-
wish we had that information. It would be
Right.
nice, but
which brings me to the question of the survey that had HSA, but it didn't say the survey that we got, and I appreciated that. But it's, one of them was listed as HSA, but it didn't list the contribution, the county portion of the HSA contribution in it. So to get an answer to that, if there was no HSA contribution to it, would have been a different survey answer. Mine would have been different. I'm sure a lot of others were too, so I'm not trying to be a stickler, but I'm gonna bring somebody in new, and I just need to know where the direction was, so. So HSA, we don't know anything yet, so. And so if the union negotiation drives the health insurance, how does that affect someone who's not in the union? Would the same criteria for the insurance be the same, or will it be different for someone in the union or someone out of the union?
It doesn't necessarily have to be the same, but we don't know that at this
Well-
point either.
Unless you change the language, it does. The FOP contract section on insurance says that the FOP will pay the same amount as all other employees. And
In the
you-
current contract.
In the current, so that would have to be negotiated for that to change.
So that will change, yeah.
Really, I would like to end this discussion now because
Okay,
this is something that we need to do in a closed meeting or with the attorney
okay,
in question.
all right.
And things are progressing. I mean, Walker confirmed that this legal counsel would be representing us. I've had a conversation with him. He's talked to both the representative from the FOP and the ambulance folks. So things are moving, but
Okay.
at this point, we don't have anything to share or discuss openly.
All right, well, thanks for listening. Under new business, I'll be back, okay?
Okay, so item number 8, anticipated financial shortfall in general funds for payments of expenditures. Scott has continually given us, and Scott, if you want to speak to this, please come on up. He's given us reports of where he thinks we stand now. I'm sure you'll recall last meeting in August, we gave Scott the ability to borrow up to $250,000. The board decided that we were going to try and treat that as a loan and pay it back by the end of this fiscal year. Any amount that wasn't paid back, we would pay at a 10% rate over the following months. At the Finance Committee meeting, we continued that discussion. I think you'll remember at our last full board meeting that there was some discussion that we didn't think 250,000 was going to be enough, that the shortfall would be greater than that. Scott reinforced that at the Finance Committee. So please jump in here, Scott, but I think at this point, we're looking at the need for another 250,000. And we may not need all of that, but of course, if we did authorize that much, he wouldn't take more than what is necessary.
Yeah, we would just use it as needed.
Now, is that 250,000 for next month or for the end of the fiscal year?
I think that should carry us through the rest of the year.
So the,
Right now, we have a current balance of 173,878.27, and I don't know as of today what the payroll will be. Last payroll was 186,000 from the general fund. Payroll for that was 166,000. So I don't know what the payroll is going to be yet, and I don't know what the health insurance is going to be. Between building and grounds and finance, and I estimated 65,000 for the health insurance. That's another 174,181.01. So we basically got enough to do the bills, but not the payroll. So we've got 60,000 left from what we borrowed from liability insurance. So we're probably looking at about 110 to maybe 120, depending on what payroll and health insurance is going to be to get us through this one. Next month, we'll have a landfill payment toward the end of the month. The sheriff's got some of his resource officer money in, so the first of the month's going to be a little bit better than normal. I won't know exactly what he has because his federal money won't show up in the bank statement until the end of the month. But it's going to take at least 110 to 120,000 to get us through this month.
You say the federal money doesn't show up till the end of the month?
Nope.
You don't go online and check your balance each day?
Yep. But it don't show up till the end of the month.
So it doesn't?
Well, not
doesn't
the,
deposit.
sometimes it don't even show up till the first part of the next month, but then we go ahead and take it with their approval.
And you should get, I think there's a personal property replacement check that should come.
Yeah, I think we'll get one of them this month, but that's usually not much.
It'll be 12 to 15,000.
We'll still have another probation reimbursement before the end of the month.
again, I'm not holding you to these figures. I understand their estimates. You think 250 will get us to the end of this fiscal year?
I believe it will,
Okay.
because we'll have some
And
property
100
tax money
And 110 or 20 to get us through this month.
this month, yeah.
We had this conversation last month, so I think we all know what funds are available.
Yeah.
What's the, I know you said last month, but what's the balance in liability now?
I've looked at that one enough. I should have that one memorized. Liability insurance has a balance of $446,062.60. But it'll get a distribution the 1st of October.
Which we cut by, what'd we reduce that by? The last budget was 300,000?
I was gonna say we levied it to, I think you levied it for 319 or something, maybe wrong.
Because we lowered that levy to stand
We
at
did lower it,
10%,
but I don't
right?
remember what it was now.
But we did lower that levy.
Yeah, we did lower it, but I don't remember what it was now.
That's what I'm saying, I want to say, so figure 150, 160. yeah.
Scott, is that balance including the claims checks?
Yes, it does.
Yeah, that's 278 or 9,000, that's the
So-
hail damage.
We really don't have, what'd you just say, 400 then, or?
Yeah, but it'll be replenished before the claims come in on it.
Yeah. So it's really got 187, it's 150, about 330 total.
Scott, if you were to make a guess then, what do you think that our average deficiency or deficit is per month? 50,000, 40,000?
No, it would be in excess of 100,000.
Well, then that would mean we're
Over what
like
we're
$1.2
taking in.
million out of whack for our budget,
Yeah.
which I don't think we're that bad. But my question for continuing to borrow money, we're just borrowing next year's money to pay in this year's expenses. I don't know what's supposed to happen December 1st. Are we going to continue having the same problem if we're not getting the extra? I mean, I don't know that this ends at November.
It doesn't end in November. I'll have to do
It
it.
does not, and this county goes into an anticipation note almost the first month.
Yep.
And
We
that has to be reversed.
Yep.
And there's going to be some pain involved in getting that reversed. Because you can't continue that direction.
We used to go after our anticipation note in like May and June, but every year it just kept getting earlier and earlier and earlier.
And as I say that if we borrow the money and let's say we do another 250, so we're at 500,000 and we do our 10% a month thing, then there's 50,000 a month that we've got to be spending at next year's budget that we can't be putting towards salaries or something else. So yes, it might get corrected the following year, but that's why I don't know what the answer is, but while we continue to borrow money now to pay for this year's expenses, it just hurts us more next year. But I don't have an answer on how to fix it, so.
Yeah, the only options would take several months to even enforce.
Or to correct anything.
To correct anything. If you want to amend the budget, you're going to have to post it, and that's going to take time. And so the only option at this point, in my mind, and please tell me if I'm wrong, is to borrow.
What I don't understand, and I looked through the expenditures report today, I don't see where anybody is over budget, anywhere. There's somewhere between 75% and 80% paid. So where's all that, the revenue stream isn't bad. The bank shows that we've got $37 million in the total in the banks. Last page shows cash on hand at $37,630,000.
We've talked about that for 4 years.
Why isn't it reconciled?
It's a payroll issue.
I don't believe it.
It was, yeah. Social Security's not being hit, retirement's not being hit.
Where do they have to be hit?
From the expense side and the budgetary side of the program.
On CIC's program?
Yep.
Beyond that, Andy, just on what you said, we do think that the sheriff's department is over budget.
Well, it doesn't show on the expenditure sheet.
I think we need to talk to the sheriff more and see what he thinks, but it does look like they're over budget. The other issue, and I don't want to, I want us to have positive discussions about how we can deal with this, and I don't mean to bring up anything that's going to cause tension, but I have to keep saying some of us never felt that this budget was balanced. So when you say spending is within the budget, already, we think there's a deficit there. And even when you look, one of the things that I think, and this is just me talking, I know the board has not discussed this yet as a full board or that anyone would necessarily agree, but just as an example, animal control. That budget has grown exponentially in the last few years. And I don't recall ever a time where the board said, we all agree that we're going to change what animal control does and give them new duties and new responsibilities. Yet they took things on. And, you know, some of it, I remember sitting out in the audience when, you know, I was just running for the board. I wasn't even on it yet. And I think that was the time where the state required us to start registering cats. I remember Mark said he was going to rename his cat Feral. So
That
we
wasn't
could,
Mark, that was me.
oh, all right. But
Farrell's doing well.
I think you've got to take a look at issues like that. I mean, we grew the spending on animal control without having new revenue to cover it. And there are other issues. The way we used ARPA. I mean, we took a loan from ARPA to pay payroll and then didn't pay it back. And that was a one-time thing. But now we've got to come up with what that did to us. So I mean, we're not trying to create a crisis that doesn't exist. If anyone can show us where there's money, please. I would love to be wrong on this.
I think we all agree there's a crisis. I think our problem is the fact we can't get accurate information on how big the crisis is or what we need to do about it. And I don't even think we can agree on what's caused us to have inaccurate information, but we know our information is not worth the paper or the salt or the email it's coming on. But we've got a problem. The only way out of it, as Mark says, in the short term is to borrow somewhere. Scott thinks it'll take another $250,000 to get through the end of the year. I would make the motion we borrow another $250,000, give him the authority to borrow up to another $250,000 in the 2025 budget year.
With the same,
Out of the tort liability fund,
with the same,
proviso that it be repaid.
Don, is that a second or you have?
No, second.
Okay, we have a motion by Jim, second by Don, to increase the borrowing authority by another $250,000. Any other discussion?
yes, I'd like to say a few things.
Mark?
We talk about, it's time to stop going back on everything that we disagree on and look at the issues ahead. Budget time's coming up. Now's your opportunity to make the changes that you want to make. Now's the opportunity. I completely disagree with the way you put that out there, but I'm going to stop there because we need to move forward. And I'm not going to go down that road no more, and I suggest that this board doesn't go down this road no more. I'm tired of having a gut ache every time I come to a county board meeting. It's time to make a change. Now you're in charge. Make the changes. Let's move forward. Budget time's coming up. That's where it needs to be done.
Any other discussion? Joey?
37 million.
That's what's in that income tax carrying.
It's in the
Well,
GL,
it's not that much.
not the bank account.
Well, if it's
What-
a
what-
bank statement,
26 million. What's a bank statement say on it?
7 million,
That is the bank statement.
that's what I'm saying.
It's 26 million.
What's that say?
Okay, it's too small. Time for glasses.
It says 37 million. I've got my glasses on. $37,630,000, $630,175.
Well, I'll ask the two of you, what's it for? What's it there for?
Joey, what was your question?
That's just the total that's supposed to be in the banks. The banks, they're not wrong.
No.
That's in Farmers State Bank. The income tax clearing is used to be. What is
So-
that account?
Pike County Sheriff. That's what it says there.
You wouldn't have that much money.
Is the former state bank gonna send us a statement that's wrong?
That account's not in Farmer State from UCB. I don't know which one you're looking at, but
I'm looking at the report that you sent me on 9/13.
back up to that account. Can you enlarge it?
No,
Because I can't read it.
there's the top. Turn it whatever you need. These cheaters.
Yes, sir.
I mean, I can see it now that we turn it, how you move it up. On the scroll.
Okay. While they're discussing that, I would like to say that I did rebuild the spreadsheet based off of general fund revenue and expenses. And I rebuilt some past years too. So for example, 2022, if you compare the revenue of 5.6 million compared to the expenses of 5.6. In 2022, we were over budget by 175,000. In 2023, it looks like we were over budget by 575,000. In 2024, it looks like we were over about 542,000. And so far for 2025, it looks like we're going to be over about 744,000.
This way.
So the spreadsheet has been shared with all the board members. They can see what I'm looking at as far as numbers, how I came up with them. I am more than happy to correct anything. As Mr. Shepherd pointed out, I missed a couple sheets. So I'm happy to fix anything or plug something up or plug something in that I have wrong. But I'm telling you, the first page of this spreadsheet is expenses and revenue, so you can see each department. Instead of having it broke down by department and their individual line expenses, I have the total departments. So in other words, sheriff department spent in 2024, 2.8 million. They've appropriated 2.6. They're estimated at 2.6. So it's running close as far as the overall, but there are some categories that they're over on their budget. So I'm doing the best I can to rebuild the data based off of what I can get from Scott for real information and not go off the CIC reports. Because as was discussed at the finance meeting prior, it's a garbage in, garbage out. If things aren't being put in correctly, we really can't count on the reports to tell us what really is there. So I'm taking all the raw data and rebuilding it from scratch and trying to come up with some semblance of what's going on. So I'm open to anybody helping or pointing out where I need to change something, and I'd be more than happy to do it. But as I said, I've shared this same spreadsheet or this budget worksheet I've shared with all board members and all department heads, and that's a live sheet. So as I'm making changes, everybody sees the changes at the same time. So I am trying to be as transparent as possible to everybody involved to see where we're starting and what we're working with. So, you guys figure out what you need.
So why would it be set up to have funds that aren't accessible?
Because they're designated. All your motor fuel tax funds, your highway funds.
Scott, can you use the microphone?
All of your motor fuel tax, your highway funds, all that stuff is all designated. So you wouldn't have access for them now. Somebody had said something about maybe you could have the interest off the CDs, but I don't know whether that's true or not. We have always put it back into that fund itself.
How much do we have in CDs?
There's quite a bit in CDs
Yes,
altogether.
the
Ambulance and accommodations,
Okay, as per
highway.
state guidelines, the interest off all those CDs and accounts goes back into general fund.
Has that been happening, Scott?
No, it's went back into every
It
fund
hasn't been.
on its own. That one, we'll have to reach out to Walker, see if it's legal to pull it from them. because they are special designated funds.
Just the taxes that go in.
So I don't know whether the interest can be taken into the general fund or not.
It's something for us to look into, but
Yeah.
back on the question, does anybody have anything more to discuss about the increase to 250,000? We have a motion on the table. All in favor, aye? Aye. Any opposed, nay? Okay, motion carries. Thanks, Scott. Do any board members have any new business before Bryce wants to talk? Bryce?
One basic thing I want to understand is, Derek's done a lot of work on this. He's got the worksheet going on the budget. Are you not going to provide me with a budget to fill out, or are you doing that? Is that what's going on? Do you want my input on that? I mean, you do?
Sure,
Okay.
please.
So no one's giving me any sheets that I normally get to fill out? I'm saving electricity on the light tonight too, I see.
I couldn't.
I'm just curious if that's okay, if somebody would give me some sheets to fill out?
Yeah, I was going to say, you've seen the spreadsheet, right?
I saw it, you sent it to me, but I haven't had time to look at it.
That's fine. What I was going to suggest is that if you just copy paste your part of it, copy it and then paste it in a new Excel, then you could just fill in your appropriation numbers right there and then send it to me.
Off
Or
the
I
sheet,
can-
off
or
the
if you
sheet
want-
you sent me?
Yeah.
I'm saying, okay.
Yeah, or I can take that part out of the spreadsheet and just send that sheet and you can fill it out, but that's going to be the information we'll be plugging in.
Okay,
So, yeah, the information's on the full spreadsheet. If you want to just copy paste your part of it and just fill your part of it out. That's what the county clerk has done and highways done. They kind of already had one and they just,
okay. I was just looking for direction. I didn't know, wasn't told how that was going, other than that got your email. But, and one other thing, I have a conference coming up next week, and I received an email from Rita today about, not traveling and not watching the dollars. I have this conference next week. There's training required by the state of Illinois twice a year from the Illinois Association of Court Clerks. I mean, I'm not necessarily looking for direction. I'm just telling you I need to go.
Well, and that's your decision. We're just asking people to please,
Yeah. Well,
see what you can do. To the extent you can pay for it out of one of your lines that's not general
Yeah.
funds, that would be great.
as usual, yeah.
Then,
I mean, the last thing I want to do is not be trained on the law that changes every day in our office. I just want to make sure
You're mandated to go.
it's part of the rules for me to be there. They have a training day twice a year. They call it the IACC conference. We actually have a court clerk conference, and, all the people from the state courts will be there to answer questions. And it's a lot better to have, it is a good environment where someone has a question
sure.
that they can bring it up, have a conference about it. But yeah, I mean, they accumulate points on of your attendance. They keep track of your attendance. And so, yes, I'd say it's required.
Yeah.
I mean, I might be a slap on the wrist, but,
Another unfunded mandate that we gotta put up with.
well, and I've been doing it twice a year. There's also a county official one too that I usually try to go to one day that lines up for what I do. But I just want you to be aware there's going to be mileage. It's in Springfield, so we're not looking at a hotel.
That's not what we're worried about. That
Okay.
sounds
All right, well.
perfectly fine.
Yeah, I figured you would leave that up to me to decide whether it's
Yes.
pertinent or not. So, okay. The only other comment I have, and call it negative, you call it what you want, but Tiger Hawk, when we had this problem with it, with the updates, I feel like it was caused by the updates. I don't know because they don't tell us. And I've asked and asked for them to tell us when they fix something, I've actually asked them to tell us before they leave the building what they found. Sometimes they fix it remotely. I can't get them to do it. They will not tell me what they've done to fix something. And that's very frustrating, because if it's as simple as rebooting a computer in the basement, we don't need to pay for somebody to come over here and do that. We have IT people that are very capable of doing that, and that's where it saves us money, is to have.
They don't generate a work order, Bryce, or anything?
Well, that charges for it. I don't know I don't know what kind of contract you've got set up, but they're telling us they come around on a Wednesday. Well, if I have no internet on a Thursday, Becky's going to fix that, or Crystal. We have people in place for that, and they don't have to pay for an emergency. That's where they shine and pay for themselves on these IT stuff. But I was in the automotive repair business for years. I would not give you your car back and not tell you what I did to fix it.
It'd be on the invoice or the work order, or whatever.
Well, maybe I don't see that. But even when I ask them, when I get called as being rude to a vendor because I got tired of them not telling us, and they still don't tell us. Just like this 3:05 in the morning failure, I still don't know. No one's told me what they did to fix it. Now, they did something remotely, and then Becky went down in the basement and rebooted 3 different switches of some sort, and she got them going. So something happened at 3:05, and we fixed it. Or at least in combination of what they did and what we did fixed it. But to me, if you learn from what fixed it, you know what to do next time. It's just simple. So if there's a frustration there, we got it going, but we got court to do. We're around there trying to get internet to work. So somebody on there, GIS, I would like to know what they did to fix that this last time. I think we deserve that. I think our IT people can take that information, and I'm not looking to lay blame. I'm just looking to take responsibility and tell us what we can do to save money. I don't want to be down. Downtime is what the burn is, so.
Bryce, at the meeting, we did talk about there's definitely a communication issue. But one of the things, as you're speaking about the situation, if there was a ticket submitted, they're supposed to put the notes to that ticket, so that on what they did to fix it. So where you may not have been given that information, if there was a ticket there, they're supposed to go in there. That's how they acknowledge that they did something, and they're supposed to put in there reboot or change the reg head or whatever it was. They should be putting notes in there what they did to do. So if you could maybe send Angie or whoever what the ticket was that you're referring to, for if it was the down internet, submitted a ticket for that, they should be putting in there what they did to fix that ticket so they could clear it out.
So I need to ask Angie what it was, probably?
Well, or whoever submitted the ticket, they should be able to log in. I mean, if I submit
Crystal?
a ticket even from this laptop, I should be able to go back into my little feather down here and see have that ticket was closed and what the notes on there are. So wherever the ticket was submitted from, you may be able to go right in there and see what the notes are. Otherwise, I think if you can give Angie the date and time or something that it was sent off to Tiger Hawk, she may be able to look into the queue and figure out when it was taken care of. I'm hoping.
So as an office head, they don't let me know?
They should.
Really?
I mean, I find it odd that they're like blatantly denying you an answer, but
Well, I can't, I guess I could put in a ticket and ask for an answer, but then I'd be called out as rude again, so.
well, and then they want to charge us.
Exactly.
So we don't
I
want
just
that.
think it's good business. When you fix something, you tell the person what you did to fix it. And if it was your update that did it, take
And-
responsibility and not bill for it.
Well, right. And to your point is that was the whole reason that I thought we were doing IT coordinators in the different locations and for them to communicate, because as you just pointed out, if one of them learns how to fix one thing, then they all might learn how, and then therefore we wouldn't have to be contacting them at all.
Yeah.
So no, I completely agree with the concept of what you're trying to do. I just apologize that our communication skills with them at the moment, we're definitely having issues. And aside from a big stick or
I'm
trying to
just
find
asking for
somebody
better
else on
communication
stuff.
and not being called rude for it. I just expect better. So, thank you again. Anybody got any questions for me tonight?
Thanks, Bryce.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks.
I'll leave the chair here.
Is yours on new business?
It's in reference to something he brought up with the budget.
Okay.
It was mentioned that the spreadsheet and budget information was sent out to all board members and office heads, and I wasn't included in that email. I hadn't heard of that until this evening. So I just need that information, please.
I will send it to you right now.
Thank you.
Thanks, Evan.
Thanks. Sorry about that. Any unfinished business?
Rita?
Jim?
You also didn't include her on the memo about moving costs. Not that that's critical with her department.
You're right.
But
I'll get that to you too.
Can I ask a question? for me
Sure.
specifically?
Just as
In
quickly
regards
as
to
you
the-
can. I
yes.
appreciate.
In regards to the budget, Derek, and filling those out every year, we're given the EAV so that we can plug that number into the budget for those of us that do the budget on our own. Are we going to get that number to be able to do those budgets? Because without it, I mean, I can plug everything else in and then adjust it to whatever that number is, because that's basically
I
what.
can send you what Nicole sent us on her best guess on what the EV that she's looking at. So,
Okay.
yeah, I can send that over to you too.
Okay, 'cause I think.
But at this
usually-
point, I don't know that there's anything, I mean, it's not like this board's made a decision.
Okay. Because
Or
that's
that
like
we
the
know
premise for us,
exactly
that's
where we're
a
going.
big part of our budget. So we need to know that for the health department and then also for TB, tuberculosis, I can't say it. So, yeah, if you could send those, at least to give me an idea, I would appreciate that. Thank you.
And thanks, Jim. I'll get you the spending memo that Bryce referenced. So not hearing any other new business or unfinished business. Move to chairman's remarks. Greg Wyatt contacted me. He has a solar project proposal in Newburgh Township. And the group that's doing it has asked if we can meet prior to our October meeting, like we've done a few times in the past, to consider that proposal. Would the majority of us at least be available to meet at, say, 6 o'clock on, prior to our October regular meeting? Andy, you're okay, Don?
Yeah.
Say that
Tom?
again.
What?
Say that again, Rita.
At 6 o'clock prior to our October meeting, which is 27th, if we could just have like a half-hour meeting to consider this solar proposal that Greg Wyatt will come in with. Looks like most people can, so I'll let Greg know, and he usually takes care of the postings on that. Walker?
Just out of curiosity, who made the application?
I do not have his information yet. What I have is something from the engineering group that's reviewing part of it.
I'm not sure who made the application, but it's an application for Newburgh Township.
Yeah, it's in Newburgh.
And I believe that the company came in and met with all property owners around there to discuss any of their concerns.
According to Greg, they did, and there do not appear to be concerns at this point. But that's just unofficial via email. He indicated that he would be getting each of us a packet of the proposal, and we can make sure you get in that loop.
Okay, great.
All right. Then prior to the October meeting at 6 o'clock. And if I can talk about the next two together, after the last finance committee where we did discuss some budget issues. I was able to talk with a few of you as we all had, other meetings following that. And people seem to be in favor of having special budget meetings like Jim has done in the past. So I would like to start scheduling those. Also this year, and this would be a little different, I'd like to go ahead and just schedule a truth and taxation hearing for October. I know that I've probably made you all sick of me saying at every chance I get that I don't want to increase the levies, I don't want to raise taxes, but at the same time, I know we're in a difficult situation and we've got to keep everything on the table. So what I would like to do is schedule the truth and taxation. From the summary that Walker went over with me in the past, months ago, I believe the correct procedure is to have it before we, as a board, pass the taxation levy. So I'd like to get that out there and perhaps just come in with maybe 2 or 3 different scenarios of options we could do and get the public's input. We may not have a lot of public input, but at least we can give them the opportunity. So I would like to get both of those things scheduled. Any discussion? Any concern?
I don't know that you hold the hearing with 2 or 3 scenarios. You hold the hearing with your proposed levy.
I'll go back and.
Correct in that, Walker, is that you.
It's not to come up with alternatives, it's to say that this is the direction we're gonna go, we're thinking of going, and it exceeds 105% from what we did last year, which means that you are required to have the hearing. And so the whole idea is to get your numbers kind of firmed up. I mean, the statute allows you to actually do this in September and get that firmed up. The idea being that you get your property tax number really solid before you even start building your expense budget. I know Mr. Ross had sent out some preliminary notes, or I'd seen an email of some preliminary numbers or something, or that
It's in the same budget sheets, I believe. It's at the end of there.
So, whatever you're thinking, again, the way we did it back when I was finance chair is we kind of talked all that over in a finance meeting and came up with a plan. And then, fortunately, back in those days, we didn't have to have a truth in taxation because, well, we didn't have to have one, so that was good news. But it's just something that you kind of have to have a meeting to firm it up. Or you can, the statute, says you can designate one person to start working all the numbers up if you want to go that direction. But they need to be worked up, and then once you figure out that's the number we want to shoot for, then that's when you get the truth in taxation.
And I know it's required if you're over 105%, but the way I read it, you can have a truth in taxation even if you're not. You could have the option to do that.
Sure.
And I think that would be good for the public to offer that, regardless of what numbers we come up with. So-
You've got to figure out the number.
Right. So, can we look at some dates or, where the majority of us at least could be available to, look at some budget numbers? Is there a day of the week that's bad or good for some people? Thursdays are not good.
I'm pretty good anytime. I can arrange my schedule or whatever.
Are we going to go weekly, Madam Chair? Are you thinking about going weekly or 2 in 1 week? You can always set up several and cancel.
Yeah, I was thinking weekly for at least through the first half of October.
So do you have a date in mind?
I'm pretty much open.
Tuesday, 6 p.m.
Second that.
What day?
Tuesday at 6 p.m.
So 7, 14,
Which Tuesday?
Can, the 30th? Do you want to start the 30th or you'd rather not? Or maybe should we give the departments a little, or you're ready to start?
Between now and then, maybe the departments will start getting me numbers and we'll have them plugged in. Like I said, it's a live sheet, so anybody can look at it whenever they want to. Doesn't have to be at that meeting. I mean, so it's just a matter of signing in and looking where we're at, and I'll plug numbers in as I get them.
Okay, so if we went, let's say Tuesdays at 6 p.m. all the way through the 21st? As Jim said, we can always cancel if we find we don't need it.
And even if we don't have all the numbers for the 30th, we have a lot of discussion to complete.
Yes? Yeah.
And then working backwards, November 24th, the meeting at the end of November to approve everything, and you're gonna have to publish the budget, I can't remember the timeline, 2 weeks ahead, or is it?
15 days.
15 days.
15 days on the 9th.
That would be, it has to be published then by the 9th, which is a Sunday,
So, yeah, you have to post it for Friday the 7th.
so it has to be by the 7th, so that's your drop dead date, to have it published.
Tuesday night.
Okay, so we have Tuesdays at 6 p.m., September 30th through the 21st. And then as far as truth and taxation meeting,
Keeping in mind that I'd have to go back to my December 3rd email to you, Rita, but you have to give 2 weeks' notice or thereabouts.
of the meeting.
I think it has to be published 2 weeks prior.
So,
And honest, Mel, of course, you scheduled a meeting at 6 o'clock before the 27th. The one time we had a truth and taxation meeting, it lasted 5 minutes. There was one attendee.
so you'll want to be thinking about that truth and taxation number sooner rather than later.
Would we want to look at October 22nd? A Wednesday? That's a possibility?
Just set it for the 22nd, and we'll go from there.
Okay. Let's do 6 o'clock.
All of those are here.
I would like them to be. Okay, thank you for those. We've got approval of the summary of current expenses and mileage and per diem. Catherine? And there's, sorry for this, but the finance committee didn't get in the mix soon enough, so that will have to be.
And again, they can, we'll have to amend or like adjust them accordingly. I would like to set a time, though, that these are due. I've had to email repeatedly to remind people to send them, and still didn't get the one today. So if they could be Monday at the board meeting by noon, that would be great. Is that doable? And can they be emailed? Don?
I can get that to work. All right.
Emailed Monday by noon, all committee meetings? Okay.
What I tentatively have, which I will go for, building and grounds, 10,875, public safety, 36,565, 56, GIS, 6,440, What we have in finance, which is what was in the folder, that was total, was 96,649.10. The finance committee minutes say 94,709.74, so therefore, we'll have to see the difference in that is. Rabies was 2,214.29. County clerk document 428.50. Court system fund 2214. Circuit clerk automation 1301.65. For a total of 3,966.58 for a grand total for everything. Bills paid is 154,595. 154,595. And then the board pay is 2,044.50, and again, I'll have to double check those with who is attendance with the GIS, or I'm sorry, building and grounds, and finance.
Okay. Motion to approve those reports? Mark? Second? Andy? Any discussion? All in favor, aye? Aye. Any opposed, nay? Motion carries. Okay. Is there any questions from the press? Jim?
Did you finally establish a date for the taxation?
We are going to do that. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yes. Yes, in this room if we can. Okay. Any other public comment?
Motion to adjourn.
Motion by Tom, second by Joey. Any discussion? All in favor, aye? Aye. Any opposed, nay? Motion carries. Thank you all.
This is clearing account, he's talking about the social security, your income tax, about 90,000.
No, I didn't, but, you know,